Really constrained to ask a direct question because sometimes we build your case so that you can be able to ask the question. Honorable Speaker, because we have really struggled in this country in the Ministry of Education. Since I joined Parliament in 2013, we have only one chair of Education Committee, Member of Parliament for Tinderet, Mary. For now, almost 15 years, we have not been able to sort that mess, regardless that it has been there for 15 years. That is historic. You know, he has the memory of the institution for almost now this 13th year, and we have not been able to sort education issues. Every time they summon the CS in the Committee of Education in the Royal House, they are still struggling. You can see that committee is really struggling to address issues on education. So, Mr. Speaker, that is why the Senate can be able to handle these issues if the CS can give us time to engage him. The Committee on Education and other leaders like us can be able to do a lot for the Ministry of Education. So, Mr. Speaker, like now, for example, we are going to the close of the CDF in June 30th this year. And still, CDF has been supporting schools, including the Raka where Senator Mofaya comes from. And they have not been able to manage the infrastructure of those schools. So I'm asking the CS, now after the CDF goes, what strategy, CS, do you have to do infrastructure in those schools? Because now CDF has been supporting you and CDF is going. Honorable Speaker, it is because of these bursary funds. Like now, the money with the MPs is almost 15 billion. So how much money do you need the CS to give the capitation in full or to deliver free primary and secondary education? Can we move all these bursaries from these other, from the MPs, from GAF, from the county governments, and give you all that money so that you can distribute it directly to schools? Do you feel you can be able to do that so that we don't pay all these funds to come to the ministry and then you give all the schools free primary and secondary?
The question of CDF and the fact that the CDF is now undergoing that process of, it might not be out or it might be there. But if for any chance CDF is not there, then the funds that CDF now is using for purposes of supporting the ministry would request that then fund would be allocated to the ministry in order for the ministry to continue doing the infrastructure and the bursaries that the CDF is doing. However, part of the exercise that we are doing at the moment and we think that we need to do is we want to, just like we're undertaking the verification exercise, we want to undertake an audit of all the money that is utilized in the sector in terms of all the bursaries that are given by various institutions, by various donors, by various government agencies, so that we can get a figure to know how much is it exactly are we spending in the sector for education. So that compared, we can then analyze to find out with the number of learners that we have, if we pulled all these resources together, can we then have a completely free education for our children? Because to date, there is nowhere you can get the total figure other than the 702 billion that the government allocates in the budget. There is no other center where you can get a centralized figure to say this is the amount of money that is being utilized totally in the education sector. So we want to do an audit first, then that audit will be able to give us the data that we require to push for probably the consolidation of all these amounts into one kitty, and then we have that kitty running the sector. So it's work in progress. It's a conversation that we'll need to all have to see how we sort out that problem, because as the senator here has said, these are problems that have been there for a very long time, and we've really not gotten the answers to them, and we are trying to find out what is the best way to do this in order to ensure that we resolve the financial challenges that face this sector. So we are doing something about it as well. And also, to Senator Consolata's question,